Hi, welcome to this video on Trendlines. As we have seen in a previous video, we can have horizontal support and resistance line, but that's not the only type of support and resistance. So today we are discussing the trend lines that are basically the same concept, but it's not horizontal, rather we have a slope. So let's look at this chart. Again, it's the S&P, and you can see here that we have the price going up, right? So let's zoom in on this area. Now, again, as before, the idea of support is that we want to connect the low of the price, and then is some kind of zone where the price is more likely to bounce on, right? So here we can go to the trend line tool from Finvis again, and maybe we can zoom here, is even more clear. And for example, what we can do, you see here, it seems that those points are actually connected by some kind of line. So we may try to draw a line. This is not actually the best. So for example, here, you know, sometimes it's not easy to find a fitting line, and if you cannot find one, you should not force it. Okay, so if you can find a line that is connecting at least 3-4 low, is okay, like this one. And remember, it's not actually a line; it's more a zone. So we may say that it's something like that, right? So you see the price is hitting once, twice, 3 times, and more and more. And the main idea is the same as the support before. When the price is this level, it will more likely bounce up. The other trend line, the resistance trend line, is basically the same thing. So again, we can connect points here. Remember, for the resistance, we have to connect the height, and again, is this level here. Let me zoom in. Okay, maybe again, it's not really something that we can clearly define. It's more like an area. All right, so you see here we are hitting once, 2 times, again here, and then here. And in this case, we have a channel. Okay, this is called channel, where we have a support sloping up and then a resistance sloping up. The price is bouncing within these two ranges, and this is called channel up. We also have the channel down, that is basically the same thing when the price is in a downtrend, like something like, let me see, well, we don't have it here, but well, the idea is basically that you have the same situation that you see here, but with a downtrend. Okay, now again, as before, how can we identify these trend lines? And again, as before, we can use Finvis. So let's have a look at Finvis here. And what we can do in terms of channel, we have this channel up signal here, and you can, oh, let's look at this. This seems nice. PALL. Yeah, this is a very nice example of channel up. Actually, very strong support trend line. And maybe the resistance trend line is not as good. Doesn't. Maybe here we have something. But again, if it's not really clear, don't force it. The main thing is that here you can see a very strong support. It's very clear, right? So when you have a situation like that, it's very good, but it's not so common. Anyway, with FinViz, we can find this channel up where we have a support trend line and a resistance trend line going up. We have the same thing when we are in a downtrend, so the channel down. Okay, so as you can see, we have a situation where support and resistance trend line are going down. All right, and then we can have a look at, well, you see again as before, if we have too many results, we can add more conditions, like for example the average volume or whatever you want, depending on the strategies you are considering. But then another thing you can look for is this trendline resistance, trendline support. So this is not a channel. We may have only the resistance or only the support, but this is something else that you can consider. Okay, so for example here, let me see. Like here we are looking at the resistance. Here we have a resistance, but the support is not so clear, right? Or here, for example, we have a resistance, trendline resistance, and the support is the horizontal one. So it's not a channel, but it may be a combination of a trendline resistance with something else. And then we have the trendline support. Yeah, so it's basically the same thing for the support. Like here we have a support, here we have a support. So again, as before, you can leverage on FinViz for identifying these trend lines. So you have the support and resistance here, and then the channel up and down. And if you remember from the previous video, to identify horizontal levels, we have this horizontal support resistance, and then we have this channel. Okay, and again, remember that these levels are very subjective. So first, they are not lines, they are rather zones. And second, as you have seen here, there is not a single way to draw them, right? You may find it difficult to draw it, and probably if it's difficult to draw it, it means that it's not a good level. It should touch at least 3 points, and you can have a look at the charts you find on FinViz, and then you can further look into the charts and see if the setup is good or not. So with that, I would like to conclude. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time.